What's up guys, Nick here for Daily Vape TV. Thanks for watching Fresh Build Fridays. Today we're going to be building a dual microcoil setup on a Patriot RDA clone. This is a pretty easy build. We're going to try to get it down to about 0.5 or 0.6 today. We're going to be using 28 gauge kanthal and should be doing, I think, about 6 wraps around a 20 gauge syringe needle. So let's take a look at our tools and get started. Alright guys, so today we're going to be building a dual microcoil setup on a Patriot RDA clone. As you can see, I have it on my ohm meter. Always make sure you're vaping safe. I have my insulated tweezers, screwdriver, wire cutters, 20 gauge syringe needle, blunt tip, and kanthal wire. And I have pre-made my 2 wicks today out of rolled cotton just to save a little bit of time. First thing you're going to do is take about a foot of kanthal wire, cut it off here. There we go. Get rid of that. Next thing I do is I line up the 2 ends of the wire, kind of take a bend here, and then we clip right on the bend. Okay. Now what we're going to do is take our needle, and we're going to do our first quick wrap, which is just for leverage. Then we're going to be wrapping for real. So we're going to do 6 wraps. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, you want that lead coming right back towards you, right from where you started from. Next thing you want to do is unwrap this one wrap we did. Try to straighten it out as much as you can. I also like to try to get the leads as neat as possible. It makes it a lot easier to thread into your atomizer. So you put the first lead in. And as you might have seen before in my previous video, I like to have the lead going over the top facing my positive terminal. Alright, and you want to pull on both of the positive and negative leads at the same time to just kind of neaten up your coil a little bit. Just get it right where you want it to be, making sure it's still tight. And it's looking pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tighten up the negative terminal. Make sure it's good and tight. That way it's making a good connection. You can kind of mess around with it a little bit. Make sure it's lifted right up off the atomizer deck. What I did is I just kind of pre-wrapped this coil for you just to save a little bit of time. And I'm just going to show you how to stick the other one in there. Now I find that it helps with the longer lead going in the positive terminal, so I'm just going to go ahead and clip this one. There you go. Now this is a tricky part. You want to make sure your positive post is all the way wide open so you can get it in there without messing up the other coil. Alright, so now what you want to do is same thing with the other side. You want to neaten up your coil a little bit. Just kind of pull on both ends. Now I'm going to go ahead and tighten down the negative connection. And when I have my 2 coils right where I want them to be, I'm going to tighten down the positive. Alright, so now everything's tightened up. I'm going to clip the leads and we're going to neaten up the coils. This is also a tricky part where you have to clip the negative or the positive lead on one side and not the coil. So just be very careful when you're doing this part. There we go. Finally, we're going to neaten up our coils a little bit, and then we're going to take a reading, see what it's measuring at. You just want to take your tweezers, tighten them up a little bit, stick the needle back through, or whatever you're building on, just to kind of get them right where you want them. We're going to go ahead and take a measurement, see where it's reading at. So it's 0.4, about 47, 45, 0.45. That's pretty close where we wanted to be. Today we're going to be using a Panzer Blackhawk clone, and we're going to stick this right on top here. So actually they're glowing pretty nice right from the inside out, which is exactly what you want. You want them to also fire at the same time and get about as bright. Alright, so now we're going to wick them. As you can see here, I already have one side of the wick in. I just want to quickly show you how I put my wicks in. Now as you can see, I only rolled it up about halfway. That's just so I can keep the cotton a little bit fluffier when it comes to the cotton cloud. So what I usually do is make a nice little cone at one end. Try not to get any little hairs or anything on there that's gonna get stuck in your coil. You just kind of want to slowly poke it through until you see a little bit on the other side, and then take your tweezers, get a little bit of a grip for your fingers. You want to roll it opposite directions with both fingers and just kind of slowly feed it through. And get it to a point where it's kind of fluffy, but you know it's going to be touching the coil properly. So right about there. Next, what you do is you stick whatever cotton you have left on one side underneath the coil, and then you take whatever you have over here and just kind of make a little cloud surrounding the whole thing. Try not to get too much cotton directly in front of the coil, because that's going to be where your airflow needs to go. And whatever cotton you have left over, I usually pinch it right on the side of the deck with my thumb and rip it off. Okay, and then stick whatever remainder you have back in. Alright, that looks pretty good. Next, what we're going to do is juice it up. So I'm going to take my juice and fill up every little bit of cotton. And also what you want to do is make sure that your wick is close to the posts, because that way you get the maximum amount of airflow directly to your coils. Not the neatest coils I've ever made, not the nicest wicks I've ever made, but pretty good. Alright guys, you just saw me build dual microcoils on this Patriot clone RDA. Now let's see what your vape's like. Tons of vapor, tons of flavor. It's wow. I think, in my opinion, dual microcoils is one of the easiest / best builds you can do. So it's basically like the best build for a beginner, you know, someone that's kind of just new to microcoils and rebuilding and all that. Always vape safe, guys. Use a VTC4 Sony or an EFS battery, something that has like a 30 amp limit, because with especially lower ohm coils, if you're using bigger wire or dual coils, parallel coils, anything like that, you're going to be drawing a lot of amps from your battery, and you just want to make sure that it's safe And this one, metered on my ohm meter, 0.47, plugged it into the Ohm's Law app that I have on my phone, and I made sure that it wasn't drawing any more than 30 amps, which it isn't. Let's have another puff. Clouds for days. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Tune in next week for another Fresh Build Fridays. And as always, vape on.